Wealth is not just the amount in your bank account. It's not the size of your paycheck, the brand of your car, or the square footage of your home. Real wealth begins much earlier in the way you think. You see, before money shows up in your life, your mindset must invite it. Long before you build a business, buy a property, or get promoted, you've got to prepare the soil. And the soil is your mind. There's a simple principle. You attract what you are prepared for. If your thinking is small, your results will be small. If you believe wealth is for other people or unintended, a lucky few, then life will prove you right. But if you believe wealth is built by design, by discipline, vision, and growth, then doors begin to open. Let me ask you, have you ever met a wealthy person who was sloppy in their thinking, unfocused, negative? Probably not. That's because wealth demands clarity, and clarity begins upstairs. Start by thinking long term. Poor minds think about the weekend. Wealthy minds think about the decade. Shift your focus from short-term pleasure to long-term gain. Don't spend all your energy trying to look rich. Instead, invest in becoming rich, in skills, knowledge, and value. The next piece is responsibility. The wealthy mindset takes full ownership. If your life isn't where you want it to be, don't blame your boss, your family, or the economy. Blame your old decisions and then take charge of your new ones. That's power. And let's not forget discipline. Wealth doesn't come to the wishful, it comes to the consistent. It's not built by those who feel like it. It's built by those who do it anyway, who save when others spend, study when others scroll, invest when others waste. But mindset isn't only about money habits, it's also about belief. If deep down you believe you're unworthy, you'll self-sabotage every opportunity. If you believe money is evil, you'll push it away. So clean up your thinking. Money is not the problem, mindset is. Now here's the good news. A wealthy mindset can be learned. It's not inherited. You don't need a rich uncle or a fancy degree. You just need the willingness to think differently, speak differently, and act differently than the average person. Wealthy minds read books, attend seminars, take notes, and ask questions. They understand that every dollar begins as a thought. They build value inside themselves before asking the world to reward them. So if you want more wealth in your life, stop focusing only on the wallet. That's the result. Start with the root, the mind. Fix your thoughts and you'll fix your finances. Change your habits and you'll change your bank account. Don't wait for circumstances to improve. Improve your mindset and watch how your circumstances rise to meet it. That's where wealth truly begins, not in your wallet, but in your mind. You attract what you think. That may sound simple, but it's one of the most powerful principles you'll ever live by. Your thoughts are magnets. They pull in people, situations, and outcomes that match what's going on inside your mind. If you're always thinking lack, you'll find yourself lacking. If you're always thinking growth, you'll begin to grow. Life has a way of giving you not what you wish for, but what you expect, what you believe. Now, this isn't about some kind of magic trick where you just sit on the couch, think positive thoughts, and expect $1 million to land in your lap. No, it doesn't work like that. But what does happen is this. Your thinking sets your focus sets your behavior, and your behavior sets your results. So really, everything starts with how you think. If you constantly dwell on problems, you become problem-centered. Every conversation becomes about what's wrong. Every opportunity becomes a threat. But when your mind is focused on solutions, you become opportunity-centered. Same circumstances, different focus. One person sees disaster, the other sees a challenge worth taking. One retreats, the other advances. The difference? It's all in the mind. You've probably heard the phrase, as a man thinketh, so is he. That's not just poetry, it's reality. Your dominant thoughts shape your identity. You start becoming the kind of person who aligns with what you consistently think about. That's why it's so important to guard your mental environment like a treasure vault. Don't just let any thought come in and make itself at home. Ask, is this thought helping me grow? Is this thought attracting the life I want or the life I fear? You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be aware. The average person doesn't think on purpose, they just react. Someone says something rude and now their whole day is ruined. A bill comes in the mail and they're in panic mode for a week. But those who begin to understand the power of thought, they train their mind to respond, not react. They stay grounded. They replace fear with strategy, worry with action, and negativity with possibility. Here's something to think about. Your thoughts are always planting seeds, and every seed grows after its kind. You plant corn, you get corn. You plant weeds, you get weeds. And if you keep planting thoughts of failure, you'll find failure taking root in your actions, hesitation, doubt, procrastination. But if you plant belief, purpose, vision, now you're growing a different crop altogether. So let's say you start thinking you're capable. You may not have all the answers yet, but now your posture changes. You hold your head higher. You start speaking with more confidence. You walk into that job interview or that client meeting with a sense of value. And guess what? The world notices. You start attracting better conversations, better connections, better results, not because the world changed, but because you did. The process is invisible at first. You don't think one good thought and wake up in a mansion, but over time you build mental momentum. You start noticing opportunities you used to overlook. You take action where you used to hesitate. And slowly, your life begins to reflect the new level of thinking you've chosen. Now, don't misunderstand. Bad things still happen to people with good thoughts. This isn't about avoiding storms. But what it does do is prepare you to handle the storms better. The same wind blows on us all. It's the set of the sail, not the direction of the wind, that determines where we go. And you set that sail with your thoughts. If you think strong, you'll act strong. If you think broke, you'll stay broke. If you think generous, you'll become generous. If you think grateful, you'll experience joy. Whatever you dwell on, you'll draw more of it towards you. That's how life works. So here's the challenge. Don't let your thinking be accidental. Be deliberate. Choose thoughts that lead somewhere. Choose thoughts that build, not tear down. Think possibility. Think growth. Think progress, even if it's slow. Because in the end, your thoughts are your blueprint. Your mind is the architect. And your life is the house you build with it. You attract what you think, so think wisely. It always has. It always will. You see, success doesn't show up overnight. Wealth doesn't just appear because you want it. It comes to those who understand the value of planting today for a harvest tomorrow. The people who win financially are rarely the ones who rush. They're the ones who prepare, who wait, who build with the future in mind. You can't build something meaningful with a microwave mindset. But a lot of people try. They want 6 figures this year, but they don't want to read 6 books. They want freedom in 5 years, but they don't want to sacrifice 5 weekends. They want the mansion, the car, the lifestyle, but they don't want to lay the foundation. And that's why they stay stuck. You've got to think like a farmer. A farmer doesn't plant on Monday and demand fruit by Friday. He knows the process takes time. He understands there's a season for sowing and a season for reaping, and they don't happen in the same week. Wealth works the same way. You plant good habits. You water them with discipline. You protect them with consistency, and eventually they grow. Short-term thinkers ask, what can I get today? Long-term thinkers ask, what can I build over the next 10 years? That one difference changes everything. Let's talk about money. Someone who thinks short-term will spend every extra dollar on something flashy. New clothes, new gadgets, nights out. Someone thinking long-term, they take that same dollar and invest it. They delay the pleasure so they can multiply the result. 10 years later, the spender is broke and the investor is free. Not because of luck, but because of thinking. And here's something to understand. Wealth isn't just about money. It's about options. It's about time. It's about peace of mind. And those things aren't built in a week or a month. They're the reward of compound effort over years. That word, compound, is important because time is your greatest ally when you think long term, not only in investments, but in personal growth, in business, in relationships. The person who invests in themselves every day for 5 years becomes a different human being. They have deeper insight, sharper skills, stronger networks, better habits. And because of that, they're ready for opportunities others aren't. But most people won't do it. They'll trade 10 years of peace for 10 minutes of pleasure. They'll trade a strong future for a comfortable present. And when it's all said and done, they'll ask, where did the time go? The time went exactly where it always goes, toward the person who used it wisely. Long-term thinkers play the slow game. They're not lazy. They're strategic. They know the magic isn't in doing one big thing. It's in doing small things consistently, saving a little every month, learning a little every day, improving a little every week. These habits don't make a big splash, but over time, they create big results. Let me give you an example. Suppose you read just 10 pages of a good book every day. That's not much, just a few minutes. But over a year, that's 3,650 pages. That's 10, 12 books. And if you keep that up for a decade, that's over 100 books. Can you imagine what that would do to your thinking, to your income, to your value in the marketplace? but most people won't do it because it's not flashy. It's not instant. It's not trending, but it works. You see, long-term thinking is a mindset. It's the ability to say no to a good thing now so you can say yes to a great thing later. It's the wisdom to look beyond the next meal, the next weekend, the next paycheck, and start thinking about legacy. Here's a simple truth. Time passes no matter what you do. 10 years will come and go. The question is, what will you have to show for it? A pile of receipts and regrets, or a life you've built with vision and intention? So think long term. Set goals that stretch beyond the season you're in. Make decisions today your future self will thank you for. Skip the shortcuts and build something that lasts. Because wealth doesn't come from rushing. It comes from patience, discipline, and the courage to play the long game. Responsibility leads to power. That's a simple line, but it can change your life if you understand it and, more importantly, if you live it. You see, most people want power. They want control over their future, over their income, over their time. They want to be respected, heard, and influential, but very few are willing to pay the price for it. And the price, it's called responsibility. You don't get power by pointing fingers. You get power by taking ownership. The day you stop blaming is the day you start growing. The moment you quit making excuses is the moment your results start improving. When you say, I am where I am because of the choices I've made, that's not defeat. That's the beginning of real strength. Because if you caused it, you can fix it. That's the shift most people never make. They're too busy handing their power away. They blame the government, the economy, their boss, their parents, their past. And while they're blaming, nothing changes. They stay stuck. Why? Because the power to change has been outsourced. But once you say, this is my life and I'm responsible for it, everything changes. You move from being a victim to being a leader. Not a leader of others, but a leader of yourself. Let's be honest, responsibility isn't always comfortable. It means you can't hide behind excuses. It means you can't complain about the outcome if you didn't control your input. But what it gives you in return is priceless. Control over your future. Think about your health. You can blame your schedule, your genetics, or your stress. Or you can say, see, I need to take care of this body. It's the only one I get. Same situation, different mindset. One leads to frustration, the other to action. Or take finances. You can blame your job, your upbringing, or inflation. Or you can say, let me learn how money works. Let me become a better steward of what I have. That mindset doesn't wait for rescue, it builds. Responsibility means refusing to wait for someone to come save you. It means understanding that no one is coming. And once you accept that, you stop waiting and you start moving. Now here's the twist. The more responsibility you accept, the more power you're given. It's a strange paradox. The people who say, put it on me, I'll handle it, are the ones who rise. They get noticed. They become trusted. And over time, they gain influence, authority, and freedom. You want more power? Start showing up early. Start finishing what you start. Start doing what you said you'd do, not for praise, but for the habit of it. Responsibility is built in the small things before it ever shows up in the big things. It's like climbing a mountain. Each responsible choice is a step upward. It's not flashy, it's not always fun, but step by step, you elevate yourself. And before you know it, you're looking out from a place most people only dream of. But don't get me wrong, responsibility isn't about guilt. It's about ownership. It doesn't mean you control everything that happens to you. It means you take control of how you respond. And that's where the power lies. Life will always throw curveballs. You'll face setbacks, betrayal, failure, loss. But if your first response is, how can I grow from this? What's my next right move? Then you've already won. Not because it's easy, but because you're in control of you. That's real power. Not power over others, power over yourself, over your time, your habits, your emotions, your decisions. And the more of that kind of power you carry, the more valuable you become to the world around you. So here's the bottom line. Don't wait for someone else to hand you a better life. Take responsibility for the one you've been given. Improve it. Guard it. Grow it. Responsibility is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Walk across it and you'll find something on the other side. Power, not just to dream, but to do. Not just to wish, but to become. That's how it works. Responsibility first, power follows. Discipline is the foundation of abundance. Not talent, not luck, not good timing. Discipline. It's not the most glamorous word. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't trend. But it's the difference between a life that barely survives and a life that truly thrives. because discipline is what turns dreams into habits and habits into results. You can have the best ideas in the world. You can write down your goals, get excited, make vision boards, talk about your plans. But if you don't have discipline, nothing happens. It all stays in your head. A good idea without discipline is just a wish. But when you apply discipline, now the needle starts to move. Discipline is doing what you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has left. Anyone can work hard when it's exciting. Anyone can get motivated at the beginning of a new year. But those who succeed, those who build wealth, health, strong families, and great businesses, they show up daily. Not because they feel like it, but because they've decided to. Discipline is the quiet muscle that grows in the background. It doesn't make a lot of noise. It doesn't post about itself. But while others are making excuses, the disciplined person is making progress. You want to get in shape? You don't need a new gym membership. You need the discipline to go. You want to grow your income. You don't need another course. You need the discipline to apply what you've already learned. You want a better life? You don't need a miracle. You need consistent action, even on the days you don't feel like it. Because that's how abundance is built. Not all at once, but little by little. Let's say you commit to reading 10 pages a day, just 10. That's not much. But do that for a year, and you've read over 3,000 pages. That's 10 to 12 books. Do that for 5 years, and you've read 50 books. You think your mind and your income might change with that kind of knowledge? Of course. But it takes discipline, or takes saving money. Most people wait for a big raise to start saving. But the person with discipline saves consistently, even if it's small, $5 a day, $10 a week. Over time, it compounds. That's how wealth is built. Not by winning the lottery, but by developing the habits that allow you to grow and keep it. Discipline is also what protects abundance. It's one thing to get success, it's another to keep it. And if you don't have discipline, what you build will collapse. That's why you see people who rise fast and fall faster. They had talent, but not structure. They had drive, but not habits. Without discipline, success is temporary. With it, success is sustainable. Now, here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Discipline costs something. It costs time. It costs comfort. It costs the ease of doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But what you get in return is freedom. Not freedom from effort, but freedom because of effort. You see, the undisciplined life looks fun at first. Sleep in, skip the workout, buy whatever you want, eat whatever you want, avoid the hard stuff. But over time, it turns into a trap. Debt, poor health, lost time, regret. The disciplined life, it looks harder up front. Wake up early, study, save, push yourself. But over time, it creates freedom, peace of mind, options, strength, abundance. That's the reward of discipline. A life you don't have to run away from. A life you can build on. A life that grows instead of shrinks. So don't wait for discipline to show up. You develop it. You practice it like a skill. You make small promises to yourself and keep them. Wake up when you said you would. Do what you planned. Stick to your values. Each time you follow through, you build strength. And each time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your foundation. Abundance is waiting for you, but it's guarded by discipline. So if you want more joy, more income, more impact, start here. Don't chase magic. Master routine. Don't beg for results. Build habits. Don't wish for abundance. Earn it. Discipline is the foundation. Lay it strong, and everything else can grow.